What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I'm back with another video. This time, I finally got my hands on the 112 Collective Dark Knight Returns from Mezco. Now, I love Mezco. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're the guys who did the Hellboy series, both the first and second movies, and I dig those figures immensely. One of these days, I'll be doing the reviews for them. But this is another stellar release from these guys. I don't have many problems with them, but I do have a couple problems. Overall, though, the presentation of the figure, the kind of concept, you know, what they're going for with the 1/12 scale, 1/6 representation, if you know what I mean. They took everything you would get in a 1/6 scale figure and shrunk it down, you know. And it's pretty nice. I mean, this guy stands neck and neck with most of your other superhero figures from DC Collectibles, DC UC, Marvel Legends. He even stands really well with the Marvel Selects, too. He's big, bulky, and like I said, it's all presented so well that you have to be impressed, you know, on some level. So anyway, let me get into why this guy is great. So in terms of sculpting, we're talking about what is pretty much going on with his face, his boots, his gloves, and just how he looks in the suit, because the musculature is sculpted underneath the suit. Pretty much, I mean, he looks like he just stepped right off the freaking page. I mean, you've got this bulky, morose, pissed off, you know, just grumpy old man. It's not even grumpy. He's beyond grumpy, you know, Batman. And he's got everything that you saw Frank Miller poorly draw, in my opinion, is now represented more consistently, more professionally, and it just looks good. My gripe with this figure is, you know, for me, I waited forever to, well, I didn't wait forever. I just couldn't find this figure anywhere, and I ended up getting this version when I wanted the black and gray. So, yeah, if someone wants to trade with me, or you want to buy this thing off of me so that I can go get the black and gray one, hit me up and let me know. But, you know, I saw this was what was at the comic book store. So I was surprised because my wife and I were looking for him. We couldn't find him anywhere for less than like $100, or, you know, I think at the time he was going for like 200, and that was the week it came out. Now they've kind of dropped in price, but they're still really expensive. So, you know, seeing him at the comic book store, I was like, holy crap, I have to get him. And, you know, I'm not mad that I got him. It's just I hate this color scheme with a passion. I never liked it. But in terms of being, you know, on point and, you know, following the source material, Mezco did an amazing job. I mean, he looks like he stepped right off the page. I mean, this was the color scheme in the first couple issues of Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. So I don't have problems with the sculpt. I don't have problems with the look. Like I said, it's not my cup of tea as far as the specific color scheme. If I never get a chance to trade this thing or get the black and gray, you know, I'll be okay with it. You know, I won't play with him as much, but you know, but he has a lot of accessories, a lot of things that help make him look the part and help, you know, tie him to the source material even better. They nailed the stature, though. That's the big thing when you're looking at this guy, is that he's got that, like, broad shoulders, the barrel chest, and just like big square jaw and big feet and huge hands, and like he looks the part to the umpteenth degree. This is one of those times where a company really paid attention to the source material. It almost feels like they paid more attention to the animated version, where they streamlined all of Frank Miller's work, and it worked out for the better. Now, the accessory count. This dude comes with a lot of shit. A lot of it is useful. There is one thing on here that I just can't stand, and I will get into it as we go through all these things. I was surprised to see a Figma baggie, because that is straight up a Figma baggie now saying, you know, 1/12 Collective, which is nice. You know, I like using Figma baggies, and regardless of what some people online say, you put your shit in here, you know. If you want to leave it in the box once it's in the bag, hey, that's up to you, but I'm not a box person, so I put stuff in the baggie. As you can see, it comes with tons of hands, you know, 3 pairs, extra head, extra utility belt, the grapple claw, and the sniper rifle, as well as a stand. The head is really nice. You know, the only thing I don't like is that the black is just so, like, I don't know, it's kind of overpowering. It would be nice if it was a little bit, you know, whited out. But I love the shape of the head. Love the way the ears are. I mean, it's exactly how they were in the book. It's the way that, what's his name? Batfleck is going to look in the, you know, upcoming Batman versus Superman. This grapple claw is pretty nice. I just wish that it was articulated, because it just seems kind of strange that you can't put it on a gun. You can't do anything, like, it doesn't connect to anything. And that's kind of how it was in the comic. So I guess, you know, they were following directions. The extra pouches, you know, utility pouches, they look really good. And it's really nice how they close up. They close up behind one of the pouches. The sniper rifle, it's my least favorite thing in this, because I've never been one to want my Batman to use guns. But it's a well done sniper rifle, and it looks exactly like the one in the freaking comic. So, you know, it's still an awesome piece. This stand is wonderful too, because number one, if you shine light through it, you can get the bat signal going on your wall. Number two, if you tighten the screws, the thing definitely holds his weight. Number three, if you don't want to use the stand to have him in the air like a flight stand, you can just put that peg where the actual stand pegs into the base. And that is an awesome thing all by itself. It looks so nice. But then we come to the bane of my existence, and it's this thing here. This is supposed to help emulate flying poses, and it's your cape articulation. And it sucks. Mine won't clip onto anything. It just sucks. Now, articulation. I was going to just be silent and let you guys see the articulation, but I figured, you know what, I'll just go through and, you know, talk a little bit over the articulation. This dude has like SH Figure Art style, you know, construction, just on a thicker, more durable scale. They used old school ABS, and you know, the joints are very strong. They don't feel like they're gonna fall apart or anything like that. They don't feel like if you press too hard, you know, his arm's gonna pop off or something. You know, everything is real sturdy. A lot of double joints. You know, you can tell there's double barbell constructions going on in his shoulders. He's got a butterfly joint in the shoulder. He's got the double barbell in his neck. He's got one in his waist as well. The waist has like full motion. He actually can crouch a lot. He can lean back a lot. I mean, he leans back more than he leans forward, which seems kind of weird because that's not even necessary, you know? It's very strong feeling. It does not feel like I said, like he's gonna fall apart if you move it, you know? And it's definitely a ball joint, because when you move him around in a circle, you can just feel how that works. And it's double because if you move his lower waist around, you can feel the same kind of motion going on. His legs, very strong, very well done. You can tell it's a barbell going across, not wide jointed. He's got double jointed knees. He's got the, what do you call it, thigh swivel. He's got a calf or boot swivel as well. He can point, pull his legs back. He's got a little bit of ankle pivot as well, which is pretty cool. I have no problems with his articulation. I wish every Batman had this much articulation. All the little things, you know, having him crouch and then, you know, get down on one knee so he can look down at whatever it is that's on the ground, a clue, whatever. You can do that, and it looks good. He doesn't look stupid. It doesn't look forced like with some of the Mattel figures, you know, especially the Movie Masters. And I never understood why they didn't keep going with double jointed knees. You remember there was the Bane Wave had him, and then after that you never really saw him again. I think Bane Wave and who's the other character? Some people in the Bane Wave had it. I think Robin and the Nightfall Batman, and then Blue Beetle had it. One of the Metal Men, I think, had it, and then that was it. You just never saw it again, and it's a must so that you can do shit like this, you know. And I like that. Makes me happy to see it. Um, I don't really have, like I said, anything much more to say about them. I mean, the boot swivel. I'm not a huge fan of boot swivels, but in this case, it works. It's really easy to use, and it complements his thigh swivel, so you don't have any issues there. I really love this butterfly joint though up in his shoulders because it allows for him to like kind of have his chest out, you know, or like if he was in a flying pose with his cape, you can actually get his shoulders back and make him hold the, you know, the cape ends right. But it's so easy to use, unlike the freaking amazing, I mean the new Infinite Series Spider-Man that just came out, where you kind of have to twist, you know, like if you push the butterfly joint for the shoulders forward, it's really hard to twist the arms. There's no issues there. I did have an issue there with his, you know, his suit coming out of his sleeve though at the double jointed elbow though. Here are some comparisons to some of my favorite Batman figures. He's pretty tall, which is cool. It's kind of weird because it feels like he grew over time, you know, when you see him compared. And even the way that he's drawn in that book, it's like Batman literally grew as he hit 60, you know, which is weird. But he looks good. He doesn't look goofy. And since I never got the Mattel, you know, the Motu Batman, I like this one, and I prefer the face on this one. Here he is compared to the Joker. This is the DC Superheroes Joker. Or no, I'm sorry, this is the Batman collection Joker. This was before DC Superheroes. This is when they were kind of doing, you know, a Batman line, and then they did a Superman line, and then they did, you know, just DC Superheroes. This is the Arkham Asylum or Arkham City Joker. Yeah, this is Arkham City Joker. He's got the jacked up face. They look good together. I actually prefer this Joker to the one that's supposed to be in there. Here he is compared to Akiba Red. So you can see, you know, kind of SH Figuarts scale. I really dig the difference there because, you know, Japanese superheroes are usually kind of skinny unless they're like supposed to be roided up. And of course, you know, Akiba Red will take advantage of this because he's geeking out looking at a superhero, an American superhero now. We know they like their Japanese anime and whatnot, but, you know, who's to say that Akiba Red doesn't really admire some American superheroes, right? I dig how the difference in scale, even though, like I said earlier, the articulation is extremely similar. But it's strange, man. Like I was geeked when I got him, and I'm geeked while I'm playing with him, but there are some issues that I covered up in these pictures that I have to go over because they kind of bug me. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. The first problem is his sleeve. On one side, while I was doing the articulation, I bent his elbow, and when I straightened it, the sleeve came out of his glove. Now, I don't know how to properly push that back in there. So, and as you can see, the body underneath is gray, which, you know, will allow for, you know, less of a problem when things like this happen, because it's not it's not revealing skin, it's revealing a gray color. So it won't stand out in pictures, but I noticed because it's my toy and I was playing around with it, you know. So I don't know exactly what else I could do with it. Maybe I'll call them and see what Mezco says. But that's kind of a bummer. I mean, the cool thing about this is I got to see that there is a double joint, and I get to kind of see what he looked like underneath. But I didn't want that to happen with my figure. The other thing is, you know, I took him out of the plastic, and he had these freaking, like, runs in his cape because they use a very thin cape material. It's very soft. It's very thin. It's like something snagged it, and then they put it in the plastic anyway. You can see it now up close. That sucks. None of my capes, the ones I've made, have this issue. They don't get caught on stuff. You know what I mean? They're thick enough that they kind of slide off things unless it's like a hook. You know what I'm saying? Like a freaking fishing hook. Then you got to worry. The other thing is that, you know, so I told you I hate the freaking cape stand. The plastic lining that they put, a rubberish lining that they put on the inside of the cape, it's not thick enough to hold my cape when I put it in the stand. It just lets it go. Also, the edges on the capes kind of like fray up. And I didn't stretch it. I didn't do anything. I literally took him out of the package and started taking pictures. And it just doesn't sit, it doesn't lay down. You know what I mean? Like, it's not heavy enough where it needs to be, or maybe I need to iron it, which will be kind of weird with it being on the figure, and it might melt depending on, you know, depending on how hot, what setting I use. It could melt the plastic on the opposite side, so I almost don't want to touch it. Part of me wants to put something over top of it and then iron it, you know, so that thing could absorb most of the heat, and then I could, you know, kind of flatten things out. But, you know, I complain about the cape part because I make capes, and you guys know I make capes. No one seems to have had any issues with the weight of the capes that I made and the fact that they drape a certain way. So, you know, when I'm looking at it compared to the capes I sat here in my studio and made, I'm like, wow, mine actually lay down and these kind of curl up a little. So, I don't know. That's not my favorite thing. Kind of bothers me a little bit. But, there's that, and like I said, this stand. I hate this thing. There should have been some way to make the clamps work better, or, you know, tighten the clamps on the cape. Because instead, the first time that they get separated, there's a little bit of give, and sometimes it's enough give so that the cape will actually kind of slip through all the time. And it's not so much the tips on the right and the left, the big, you know, first scallops, it's the ones in the center. You know, there's like, what, 5 in the center, and they just won't catch. So I can't have his cape spread out unless I kind of like lean the cape on top of these arms. The other thing is the arms are really heavy and they kind of twist under their own weight, which is just fucking annoying because you need this thing to be stationary for the cape. So these are things to look out for. Now, so I pointed out all the things that I had problems with, and I know most people, all the reviews I watched, they just raved and ranted, and it's the greatest Batman ever, and it's one of them. I'll give them that. It's the best Dark Knight Returns figure that we've ever gotten. But in some ways, it feels like it's a display piece. Even though he's sturdy and he feels like you could play with him, you know, and you could pose him for a while and, you know, do a whole lot with him, you probably shouldn't, because you'll have more issues like what you saw with, possibly with the shoulder, with the sleeve coming out of the glove. And I'm hoping that's just a one-off thing and it's not like a forever, every version of the figure has this issue. But, you know, it just feels like he's fragile in that kind of way. When I say fragile, I mean like if you put him in certain situations, say he falls off of your shelf, he might snag something and you might tear the cape, because this cape definitely is made out of softer material. You know, you see the snags on mine, and I didn't drop him off of anything. Matter of fact, where I have him, he's not going anywhere. And yet, you know, I still have snags on mine, and that's frustrating. None of the paint seems to be chipping off or anything like that, so that's great. And his suit itself is not snagging anything, not even his the scallops on his, or I'm sorry, the spines on his gloves. So, you know, there's always that. But besides the things that I pointed out, this is an awesome figure. I mean, his stature is awesome. The attention to detail is awesome. The subtle shading on his boots and his gloves and his utility belt, especially the utility belt, is just really well done. You see that that's how you do a wash, not the shit that you see with all these customizers where they fucking drench the figure or the part or whatever in a black wash and it just looks like just pure shit, like the character went and rolled around in shit and got that all over their stuff. No, there's subtleties. You don't have to beat the shit out of everything. His face, that scowl is perfect, you know. So, you know, it's worth it. Right now, I don't know if I want to pay the hundreds of dollars that people are charging for this. It's not worth $100. You know what I'm saying? So if you want a black and gray one, you're going to have to go through some hoops, or you're going to have to buy it off of eBay. So if you can find it for less than $100, yeah, pick him up. I don't recommend paying $150 or $200 for this figure. It's not that much figure that you need to pay that much money for it. But you know, this is an awesome figure. If you see him, pick him up. You will not be disappointed. He has everything that you need for him to be a fun figure. If you make capes or something, which I might do, make a cape. You know, make a replacement cape for him. So anyway, I'm Strident. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I hope you dug the review. Thank you for watching and for listening, and I will catch you later. Peace outside.